almost done with matter. Hold on. All right, so like I said at the end of the last video, this is the water cycle, just how water is recycled through in the earth. So I already went over the different parts of it last slide or last video, so I'm going to get more so into the definitions. So go ahead, write these vocab words down. They're already written for you, so you're just writing the definitions down. So we have evaporation, which is just liquid water to water vapor. Vapor, anytime you see that word, all it means is gas. So this is in the atmosphere. Condensation, think condensation, C equals clouds. Condensation is from gas, or that water vapor, back to liquid. Precipitation is water falling back to the earth in liquid or solid form. So like rain, snow, sleet, hail. Transpiration is evaporation. There's a lot of rhyming words here. Evaporation off of the leaves of plants. So if you're transpiration, it's just same type of thing. Water is going into the air, it's going into gas, but it's coming off of the leaves of plants. And we have runoff, which is water flows downhill into streams, lakes, whatever. Water will never flow uphill. That would be freaky. All right, so let's get into some questions about the water cycle. A student set out 2 glasses of water to demonstrate one phase of the water cycle. One glass contained water. The other glass contained water and ice. What caused water drops to form on the glass that contained ice? So our key thing here is water drops are forming. So if liquid water is forming, what's happening? Take a look at your vocab. What causes liquid water to form? The only process that causes liquid water to form is condensation. The only answer choice that even mentions condensation is B. So we're always looking for our keywords. Water drops are forming. Drops are liquid. So if liquid is forming, you know condensation is happening. All right, 2 important processes are missing in this picture of the water cycle. What are they? So we're looking at 1, what is 1 showing, and what is 2 showing. So 1, I would say, is showing what? What do we see water doing? We see the arrow pointing downhill. So the only thing that water is running downhill, runoff. So we can immediately eliminate A and D. So we have runoff is arrow 1, sublimation is arrow 2, or we have runoff is arrow 1 and condensation is arrow 2. Condensation, remember, C is cloud, 2 is involving clouds, so it is C. Go ahead and try those next 2 problems on your own. All right, our second out of the 3 cycles is the carbon cycle. So you have this picture in your notes, so I'm not really going to go over it, but it's really just how carbon is cycled throughout the atmosphere and the earth. Key things, too much of carbon is bad for the atmosphere. So big things that remove carbon from the atmosphere is photosynthesis. Who does photosynthesis but plants? So if we chop down a bunch of trees, there's going to be a lot of carbon in the atmosphere, which is bad. Cell respiration, we remember, releases carbon into the atmosphere. It's one of the things it kicks out. The mitochondria kicks out respiration back into the atmosphere. If we cut down forests, deforestation is what that is called, it will decrease photosynthesis. If you're decreasing photosynthesis, you are increasing carbon in the air. That is bad. All right. Which diagram best illustrates the flow of carbon through an ecosystem? So we see the atmosphere. What is happening? So this is saying that plants put carbon into the atmosphere. Plants are the things that do photosynthesis, so we know that plants are taking carbon out of the atmosphere. So the arrow should never be pointing from plants to the atmosphere, so we can immediately eliminate A and B. So going down to C and D, plants take carbon out of the atmosphere. Both of them show that. Sorry, there was a bug. Animals are the ones that put carbon back into the atmosphere. This is showing animals take it out. We know that animals cannot do photosynthesis. So C is wrong. D is our right answer. You just always start with the atmosphere and see what's going on. Try to break it down, like who's putting carbon where. That one was a toughie. In which way does carbon not return back to the atmosphere? So which of these answer choices is not going to put carbon in the atmosphere? burning off fossil fuels through automobiles and factories. Take a look at your picture of carbon cycle. We see that that is true, so that's not our answer. Respiration of animals. We know that that puts carbon back in the atmosphere, so that's not going to be our answer. Photosynthesis by plants. This is the key one. Photosynthesis removes carbon from the atmosphere. So this is our incorrect answer choice. So photosynthesis by plants will not return carbon back to the atmosphere. Go ahead and try those next two on your own. And then we're going to move on to nitrogen cycle. So make sure you put down this note on the nitrogen cycle. Without bacteria, the nitrogen cycle would not work. Bacteria is the main component of nitrogen cycle. We see it down here. Write this in your diagram. This bacteria. I don't think I have it labeled on there. Plants use nitrates, which is NO3. If we look at this thing, plants, nitrates is the only one going into the plants. This process of creating nitrates, we look down here, is nitrification. This is done by bacteria. That's why I want you to write this on your diagram. Okay, the diagram on the right shows a simplified nitrogen cycle in a freshwater aquarium. What would probably happen if more fish were added to the aquarium? So if we added more fish here, everything else is going to increase. So let's see which answer choice is true. If we added more fish, nitrate levels would decrease. Well, we just said everything else is going to increase if we're adding more fish. So that's not true. Nitrate levels would increase. Let's see if that's listed on here. Here we go. If we added more fish, it's going to be like a domino effect. Everything is going to increase. So our answer is B. All right, when ammonia is taken up by plants, dissolved by water, or remains in the soil to be converted to nitrates, it is known as what? When it's taken up by plants, anything that's taken up by plants is created from nitrification. Take a look at your diagram if you're confused, or call Ms. McGrath over. All right, go ahead and complete those next two questions on your own. If you have any questions after that, please call me over or come see me. Or if you're doing this at home, call me or text me.